Today, we want to talk about something deeper than price charts, narratives, or short-term hype cycles. We want to talk about that feeling so many people in crypto carry, the quiet regret of having missed the early days of Bitcoin. Because if you've ever stared at a BTC chart and whispered, "I wish I had bought back then trust us, you're not alone. Millions of people feel that same tug, that sense of arriving just a little too late to something extraordinary, but here's the truth we rarely talk about. The magic of Bitcoin's early era wasn't just about buying cheap. It was about belonging to something rare, something raw, something revolutionary. It was about mining coins on a laptop, running a node from your bedroom, and participating in a network before the world understood what it even was. The people who were there didn't just make money, they helped shape history. They weren't early because they were lucky, but because they showed up before institutions arrived with their EFTs, their policy frameworks, and their corporate custody solutions. And today, that chapter feels closed. Bitcoin has grown up. It's being discussed in parliaments, absorbed by asset managers, and stored in vaults owned by billion-dollar firms. It's still powerful, still world-changing, but it no longer feels like something everyday people can shape. It's no longer ours the way it once was. But here's the thing. The story didn't end with Bitcoin. In fact, something new is emerging, something that honors Bitcoin's roots but speaks to the needs of the future. And that something is Radiant. When we look back at what made Bitcoin special, we always return to the same idea: fairness. Bitcoin didn't come wrapped in seed rounds or VC allocations. It didn't launch with private sales or insider discounts. It didn't rely on stacking, governance tokens, or whitelist-only participation. Bitcoin simply existed. Open, neutral, and available to anyone who cared enough to participate. But over time, that purity was lost across the broader crypto landscape. Now, most new projects launch fully pre-owned before the public even hears about them. VCs claim the upside, influencers amplify the launch, and by the time retail arrives, the ship has already sailed. Crypto got bigger, but not better. It became filled with staking gimmicks, wrapped assets, governance drama, and layers upon layers that dilute the original mission. But Radiant breaks that mold. Radiant's not trying to imitate Bitcoin, it's honoring it. It doesn't try to replace BTC, it extends its mission into new terrain. Like Bitcoin, Radiant uses proof of work, the only consensus mechanism that truly resists centralization over time. Like Bitcoin, Radiant launched fairly. No pre-mine, no VC allocation, no foundation pulling strings behind the scenes. And like Bitcoin, Radiant gives power to those who show up and earn it. But Radiant doesn't stop where Bitcoin stops. Where Bitcoin perfected sound money, Radiant adds something new: smart contracts, tokens, and on-chain programmable tools, all while keeping the trustless foundation intact. No staking, no slashing, no validator politics, just work, code, and open participation. This is a blank canvas for builders, not a playground for whales, and more importantly, it's early. Not just early in price, but early in possibility. This time, you're not late. You're right on time. You don't need to have millions to contribute. You don't need to have a massive following. You don't need permission from a DAO or access to a private Discord group. If you want to build, you can build. If you want to mine, you can mine. If you want to participate, you simply act, and the network responds. That's what made Bitcoin's early days magical, and that's what Radiant brings back. A space where you're not just a spectator watching institutions take over. A space where your contributions matter, whether you're a developer writing your first app, or a designer improving a wallet UI, a writer sharing ideas, or someone curious enough to mine your first block. Radiant feels like something we've been missing. A project that still belongs to the people, not the platforms. A protocol that rewards action, not status. A community that values participation over influence. If you've missed Bitcoin's beginning, don't worry. That door may have closed, but another one's open because the revolution didn't end. It simply grew quieter. Bitcoin showed us what happens when trust is replaced by math. Radiant reminds us what happens when fairness and openness are still allowed to thrive. In a world now dominated by layers, ladders, and locked-down ecosystems, Radiant is refreshingly clean. You don't need permission, you don't need a custodian, you don't need a governance token to vote your way into legitimacy. You just start, and that's enough. Being early is not about luck, it's about showing up when a system's still young, still pure, and still free. And that time for Radiant is right now. Radiant isn't here to promise overnight wealth, it's promising something more meaningful. A fair shot at contributing to a network that still has room to grow, evolve, and expand into something transformative. If you're searching for the next Bitcoin, Radiant isn't trying to be that. But if you're searching for a second beginning, a chance to be early in a system built on fairness, utility, and true ownership, then maybe Radiant is where your next chapter begins.